generally people will create just, a left to right straight rectangle box and right. But this is since we are from design community, we are designers, so we add value, and people also accept that our presentation should be at par. So now I'll tell you, see, I have not used any other tool. It is only all boxes and some, techniques to create these circles, add icons. I mean, obviously icons are, imported.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Down and Dirty. And today I have with me a dear friend, a new friend who I made when I attended a conference, and we completely hit it off. And I'm so happy that he's here today to share his experience with us, with me. This is Kapil Joshi. He's the head of experience design practice at Capgemini. Over 19 years of design and analytical experience in the fintech space and other industries as well, I think, right? Or are you largely only fintech? I think other spaces, if I remember correctly. And today he's going to talk to us about something really fascinating. I'm not going to spill the beans on that right now, but Kapil, welcome to the show. And I'm once again really excited to have you here.
Thank you, Tapsi. It's, a very excited moment to, meet you again, and very excited about this podcast, which we talked in the conference. And you basically, promised me that, you will interview me, and that's happening within a month. So very excited to have a conversation today and see, learn a lot of things with this podcast.
Wonderful. So I think we are going to be the ones learning from you. That's what's going to happen today, but maybe it'll swing the other way as well. So to get us warmed up, let's start by understanding first a day in your life. As someone who's heading experience design, I literally want to know from what time you wake up, what time do you clock into work, what happens in the day, and when does the day end?
Okay. So, I mean, it's a normal day, like there is no specific time. It depends on at what time previous night I slept, but around between 7 to 8, I wake up. The first thing which I do, I check my emails on my phone, because my phone is always with me. So because generally around 9 o'clock, we have our, meetings with some of our leads. Topic is changed every day. And then as we have to go to office now 3 days. So based on if I am going to office, then my day will be different. If I am working from home, then the day will be different.
Yes.
But yeah, mostly, checking mails, understanding the priority work, whether it's creating some solutions for the proposal, or, talking to some account managers on some requirements to understand what kind of designers they need, and then have a connect with my staffing partner to understand who is on bench, who is the right fit for that requirement, then giving some details to that designer, I'm proposing you there. So a lot of these kind of conversation happens in the first half. Then some priority work, because since at leadership role, we have to do a lot of strategy work also. So every week or bi-weekly we have to prepare something. Either we have to write a point of views, or find some trends which is happening in the industry, because this is an ongoing activity other than day-to-day job. So I give my time, some of the time, with my key design leaders in my team, where we try to understand what is happening new. Most of my designers are Gen Zs, so they come up with a lot of new ideas, and we try to keep that momentum in the team, that we are meeting in the office, we are not doing only on the work. So we do casual talks, we go for tea breaks, and then try to make comfortable each other. And then obviously there are multiple calls which start from the second half, whether it's Australia region or UK, or not till evening it goes to North America, and sometimes it's a customer call, sometimes with the counterparts in the US, and then at the end day ends, while coming back again in the call, while having a
when
call.
Does your day end?
Day end depends. Like sometimes it's like, for example, today it is already ended, but sometimes it's end around 10:30, 11, because mostly the West Coast calls happens after 9 o'clock.
That's right. Okay. So it seems like your day starts on your phone. Would you say a lot of your heavy lifting is happening on the phone till you reach office?
I would say till I sleep, because I open
Oh,
my
okay.
MacBook only when I have to create something. Rest
Uh-huh.
everything I do from my phone, whether it's checking emails, or responding over the emails, or doing some, desk research. Obviously, all the apps are installed in the phone. We
Correct.
use Microsoft Teams for communicating.
Mm.
Calls happens with that. But if there is a client call where I have to be present, like, in the video call, then probably I move to desktop. But I'm a go-to man kind of a person. I don't miss any calls. Even if I'm taking a lunch, I will take a call. Or I, even
Got
if necessary, I'm driving and there's a call, so I'll not wait in the office, or I'll not complete that call in the home. I can take that call based on the situation. If I have to be available on video, then probably no. But sometimes I have taken calls with customers also while driving, with by telling them that I'm driving. So we get, and all
it.
the Americans and Europe, you are driving and taking a call, so takes be
Right.
safe.
Right. They'd probably say, we'll call you back or like call us back.
No, that
Just
doesn't
drive.
happen because the calls are scheduled. But I
Good, good.
leverage the time. I leverage the technology. Why to sit in the office when everyone goes away and then you just alone taking a call.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So, all right. Interesting. So, actually, interesting and also not interesting because I imagine as someone who's on the move, you're working with your Gen Z team, you're going for breaks, you're interacting with clients, you're commuting back and forth, you're taking other meetings, you're on the move. So, having something mobile, something agile, to just whip out and continue on with what work you need to do makes sense that you would do something like that. So, I imagine then your phone has a lot of apps, like everything, every mobile application version of desktop application is probably
I
on your phone, right?
I think, yeah, more than 200 apps.
So what would you say is what are you using the most? You said Microsoft is what the company uses.
Yeah, so
Which are the which apps?
we have Microsoft 360, which is installed in our phone. So Outlook is
Yeah.
there, Teams is there. Then we have a lot of Capgemini's app, internal apps for example, our internet portal, our expense portal, timesheets and everything is on mobile. But I have installed most of the apps which are available. Whether it's, so these days now ChatGPT is also available on mobile. So I have that also. A lot of other, obviously, social media apps, though I'm not on Facebook, but Instagram, WhatsApp, Telegram, all those things. And then uh, yeah, these are some apps which I use generally. Like I shuffle between Teams and WhatsApp.
Yeah. So I'm curious, Kapil, why have so many apps? Like, why have over 200 apps on your phone?
Good question. So, what happens, like, we are an industry where we also design mobile applications for our
Mhm.
customers, specifically for banking and insurance. And a lot of time, what happens if I'm not aware of what is happening in the best apps, what are the trends, what are interaction patterns, what are the various gestures. So I need to use those apps to understand, how the interactions are very user friendly, to know these
Yeah.
various journeys. So that keeps me updated to the mobile world, that what is happening. Unfortunately, now we cannot download the apps from the US or
Mm.
European market because of the region India. But 4 or 5 years back, we could have uh, in, install those apps also, so we know how an American apps is behaving. So that's the reason. Another reason, lot of Indian apps, whether it's banking or non-banking apps, they have a very nice user experience. For an example, Airtel, it's a very fantastic app. It has a lot of features. If you see the OTT apps also, for example
Mm.
Netflix, they provide a lot of good interaction patterns, and we try to understand how we can use in our uh,
Right.
enterprise application. That's the reason I keep, you'll not believe, I also downloaded sometime Tinder and Bumble also to see that left
Yeah.
swipe right sub is very known.
That's right. That's right. I mean, this is, I had a doubt that so many apps in your phone, there must be some research component to this because you have so many, and we can, as a human being, only like really interact with a few apps. I mean, how many
In
would we
fact,
interact with?
last week I downloaded the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup app, and it is very good app. It provides you the holistic view of the all matches. It also gives you a live coverage. I mean, you can see if you don't have a Hotstar or a Star Sports, you can see a
Mhm.
live match in that app itself. So that app is also very good. They have proper tabular data of ranking, the matches,
Right.
interactions are very good. So I just last week only, I downloaded that app, and I'm following the cricket through that app when I'm not watching the match.
That's great. So, ek tir se do nishan. You're getting to watch cricket also, and you're learning about better
Yeah.
interaction systems as well. Okay, so what would you say in your job as someone who's leading the design initiative? What is your biggest? What are some of the challenges or hurdles or things that come in the way of doing your job better?
It depends. I mean, it's subjective. The challenges are,
Yeah.
new every day. Sometimes it's a resource challenge, like we have a requirement, but we don't have people on bench. Sometimes we have a lot of people, but there is no projects. So that kind of challenge, how to leverage that. If I talk about a year back after COVID or during COVID, the requirements were more, people were very expensive, so it was very difficult to hire people, get those approval from the management. uh, so this is about the talent. The other challenges which comes, in every week there is some escalation from some project, and most of these escalations are just created. And it's unfortunate that it's very easy to blame a UX fraternity or a UX person who's working on the project. If we didn't got the wireframe on time, or the design is very different, it's not technically feasible, something like that. So we have to get into all those discussion, try to understand the root cause, who has created that problem, and uh, come out with a solution which will help every stakeholders. Sometimes, for example, recently we are facing a challenge of bringing people back to work. Like in our organization, 3 days is mandatory. So getting people even 3 days very difficult. And luckily now people are following, because a lot of other organizations, the top organizations, have mandate for 5 days and 3 days. Yesterday I heard Wipro has compulsory for 3 days. But that is also a challenge. If people come, they will come only for couple of hours, 4 to 5, 6 hours. They will come in their own comfort around 11 o'clock and then leave before 5 o'clock, with the reason that there's a traffic.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah.
and as I said, most of my designers are Gen Z, so they have their own reasons, which we have to respect. I mean, those are not, um, intentional reason, but those are very obvious reason. But I'm, able to come out of those challenges. So challenges is subjective. Every day there may be a new challenge.
So, on the flip side, then, Kapil, what would you say are some enablers that allow you to do your job better? They could be personal enablers like personality and personal traits and strengths, but they could also be things that are in your environment or around you. If you had to think about it, what comes to mind?
Yeah. So fortunately, my leadership close group, like my bosses, my super bosses, they are very visionary. So every time, whenever we have a meeting or whenever we have a conversation, they come up with something new, and obviously that work has been loaded to us. We have been asked to do or plan some strategy. So that pushes me, especially my boss, who actually uh, works over the weekend on reading a lot of things, the reports by on Gartner, or all these analytics reports, and then on Monday he will come with new idea. I saw this. Can we do this? So that help us, or that enable us, or it force us to do something different. Uh, uh, Parallelly, uh, luckily we are working on a lot of proposals, a lot of work is coming. So in every proposal there is different demand, different complex issues, and we are in a business where we are simplifying the journeys of banking and insurance. So to understand that domain, that is also a challenge, and it's actually very interesting if we put our heart on that, because banking and insurance domains is though very boring, but if you have an interest, then it gives you a very good opportunity to learn. So we have to read a lot of things, how underwriter works or how a wealth management works, and then those interaction with the new generation which has a very different
Yeah.
mindset, so they come
Yeah.
up with different solutions. So these kind of debates enable us, and there's a healthy competition, we have to go with that. So the ecosystem luckily is very good around me, including my peers, my team, and also my leadership. That enables me to grow fast.
Seems like you're the sandwich generation. It's not a generation actually. I'm using that analogy, but what I mean is you're sandwiched in between uh, leadership on the one hand and your team at the other, like your juniors, and they're both inspiring you at different levels, right? That's what you said, and I find that really fascinating, but also it's a window into how you look at the world, right? It seems like you look at the world with a silver lining, saying, hey, I have something to learn from here because I'm inspired there, and I have something to learn from here, the guys who are, who I'm leading, but are coming up with good ideas. So, what kind of designer? No, we could talk about designer, we could talk about manager. Let me start with designer. What kind of designer are you? It's a broad question, and you could interpret it however you want. But what kind of designer are you?
So I create experience in simple word.
Hmm.
Now experience can be for anything. As I said, mostly we create digital products, but what happens a lot of time I have to work on presentations where I have to showcase some of the data points to various stakeholders, and I get a lot of that kind of ask from my seniors also, hey, this is a presentation which is not good, so can you just beautify this? They use that term, can you beautify this? But so then I take it that as a designer, we have to create a better solution, we have to create a better experience. That's why I said I'm an experienced designer. I can create uh, I apply that on my personal life also. Whenever I see any object at my home, I think from that design view, the alignment is not proper, the colors are not matching. So it's in entire DNA now.
Yeah, yeah. I should ask your wife then, like how she feels about being with someone who's so obsessed with design in the house.
So that is like, it's a
Yeah.
very debatable conversation, because she likes something very different, and I am completely opposite that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But this design aesthetic, this desire to bring in experience, right, into anything you touch or any kind of output that you have to generate. That's a nice segue into, let's talk about tools that enable you to do that. So, which would be what allows you to be a better designer?
So I started my journey with Photoshop long
Hmm.
back, almost 20 years ago. But eventually, new tools, the tool, even Photoshop became better and better every
Yeah.
year. The Photoshop which I have used, like Photoshop 4 and today's Photoshop, is completely different with generative AI fields. But in between, I have used a lot of tools. Like there used to be a tool called iRise,
Hmm.
which is basically a pro tapping tool. Then I worked on Azure. Since couple of years, I'm working on XD, Adobe
Hmm.
XD. But now I don't design. I just initially create a concept. So I use uh, PPT, PowerPoint. The reason being, so I was in TCS,
Hmm.
from 2012 to 16, and in TCS we used to design. We don't get used to get any softwares, so only PowerPoint was there. So I
Okay.
learned how to use PowerPoint uh, for your mockups or wireframe, and s-
Wow.
the tool has such a nice, very user friendly features, like you add boxes and play around with boxes. And since you know brushrupes, you can easily do those kind of uh, aesthetical changes. So I was very pro in creating prototypes in uh, presentations in PPT. And eventually, when I came to the leadership role, in the management role, even where I'm leading a practice, since almost 10 years, I have to work on PowerPoint every day, whether it's, my strategy showcase, my performance review, or to customer if I'm creating any proposals, it is on PowerPoint. If I'm writing a POV or any case studies, those are on PowerPoint as per the branding guidelines of the organization. So I think, and this tool is handy because if whatever I create, I can work anywhere. Since PowerPoint is an Office 365, so it is already accessible to me anytime. I don't have a dependency on any standalone tool.
That's
And
right.
what happens a lot of time when, let's say, if I'm creating something and I'm handed over to some of the folks in US, so they also can edit easily because everyone has a PowerPoint. So PowerPoint is my go-to tool, which I'm very much, I love to play around with things.
So before we get into the tool itself, since PowerPoint, I hear the value in PowerPoint because a lot of people have access to it and all the reasons you've mentioned already. But when it comes to wireframing, for example, I mean, there are more design friendly tools that are out there that will allow you to create your wireframe and then take a screenshot of that and put it into PowerPoint. Like, let's say if you were to just visualize something, just walk me through a little bit about how, in the context of better competitors who can do the job of designing better, uh, why still PowerPoint?
See, if you ask today's generation, they will say Figma. They will not
Hmm.
even say Sketch or XD. They will say
Hmm.
Figma. The
Hmm.
reason being, PowerPoint, as I said, it's available with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I can do better job or in less time in XD or Figma because all ready-made, drag and drop functionality is there. But then not everyone has those tools. Like say, if I have created some concepts in Figma and I have to give it to someone else, so it will be either a link or it will be a PDF. Now, PowerPoint is that I can mostly share the PPT version, I mean the editable file, or I can export as a PDF also. But there is an opportunity that someone can change easily because they also have the presentation. I mean they also have the PowerPoint. Uh, I don't know some domain specific terminology, so I will put just lorem ipsum. But if I go to a BA, he can update that. Or if I give a concept, so I'll do a real scenario. If someone tells me, okay, let's create a dashboard for a wealth management, I'll quickly, put the boxes and do some content, and then I can create a dashboard within 10-15 minutes and I hand it over to my designer. So he has a idea, and then probably that person can take it to either to XD, Figma, or Sketch. So that's why. So it's easy to me, and also to my counterpart who are not designers and who can also do some changes.
So I find that absolutely fascinating that you said you can quickly whip something up like a dashboard in PowerPoint. I mean, this is not something I hear every day that people are using PowerPoint to do this. So I think we have to do a screen share. Can you
Yeah.
share a few examples of what have you actually created? And it's not even the past tense. You continue to create in PowerPoint. So I would love to know what you're creating.
Okay. So let me share my screen. So this is one example of a user journey uh, of a government employee, that how they are using, banking application. So this is done, everything is done in PowerPoint. So you have a persona, basic demographic detail, some of the scenarios are listed here, and then there is a journey, various steps, like we have segregated into three particular areas and how they are moving from each each scenarios, what are details, activities they are doing, and it's a better visualization that how they can use. So now if I wanted to make it more better, generally people will create just a left to right straight rectangle box and right. But this is, since we are from design community, we are designers, so we add value, and people also accept that our presentation should be at par. So now I'll tell you, see that I have not used any other tool, it is only all boxes and some techniques to create these circles, add icons. I mean, obviously icons are imported. uh,
So let me ask you, Kapil, here in this screen itself, to create this screen or to create this experience in PowerPoint, what would be a feature of PowerPoint that you use a lot, that you leverage a lot?
Shapes. So we play with shapes.
Hmm.
Let me give an example. So let's say if I want to create a dashboard for your organization.
Hmm.
Okay. Assume that you are, I believe you have interviewed 15, design experts or, people. I was having a watch on your website. So let's say now you wanted to have you came with the idea that you will have an iPad application of all your interviewers. So how
Okay.
a dashboard is going to look like? So let's say now, so I'm creating a concept for a iPad applications, which
Yeah.
will have a header, something like this. So you see, I have added rectangle, then I just, since you asked what is the main feature, so that's why I
Yes.
said shapes. It's very easy to, create anything so I'll just, make it with no borders. I'll add your logo. So I have already saved the logo.
Oh, nice.
Uh, since it's a iPad application, so for better usability, you will have the main primary and navigation on the left hand side.
Hmm.
And let's add some branding from Poocho.
Oh my God.
And then what do you want to name this application?
Um, what do I mean? Just Poocho. I mean, just the brand name, I guess.
Sorry,
Oh, what do I want to name it? Why don't we call it RIA?
RIA, Ria.
REA. It actually stands for, in my head, Rapid Ethnographic Analysis.
Oh, okay.
This is like something I'd come up with like a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So this is Ria, and then you have the dashboard. Now let's say you wanted to see when you log in, you just wanted to see what is your upcoming interview or how
Hmm.
many people you have interviewed. So we will, segregate this into two parts. One which will say uh, an upcoming interview. This color doesn't look like. Let me make it. Or maybe I can make it white with. Now see the beauty of one of the feature which I have seen.
Hmm.
So PowerPoint gives an ability to do the autocorrect for the spell check also, which the other tool doesn't do. As per my knowledge, I am not so much, uh, but there are some features which easily help.
Correct.
Okay, and then I can create some previous interviews. So that
Right.
can be a carousel or key interviews.
Hmm.
Okay, and then at bottom you can have some of your. You tell me, you are my customer now. I am just designing for you. What do you want? Maybe uh
What about interview highlights?
interview highlights. Good. Okay. Now upcoming interview we can have date and time and photo of that person. So maybe let's say name. So let's say if you are interviewing someone, Mr. ABC,
Hmm.
or let's say if you are interviewing Mr. Amitabh Bachchan.
Why not?
And then I wanted to add a photo of Mr. Bachchan. So I'll just I'll quickly find photo from internet. Maybe I'll take this photo. Something.
He's going to be flattered you took that photograph of his.
Let's see.
So how long does it take you to actually whip up wireframes on a design? Just put in a design concept when you're doing
So yeah,
something like
if everything is already in mind, the journeys are
yeah,
there, the
yeah,
content is there, then I can,
yeah.
within between 45 minutes to 1 hour, I can create a concept
Wow, in PowerPoint.
in PowerPoint. So now, for example, let's say now I have already added this. Now, key interviews, you wanted to make it more, you have, since this is a carousel, you can add it smaller size.
Right. I guess I mean, I see now how PowerPoint can be the value add of PowerPoint is you can do the same thing that you can probably do in another wireframing tool like
Yes.
Balsamic or whatever. But
Yeah.
this is more accessible. You can do this. Do you use this on your phone? I'm curious because you're such a phone guy.
No,
Do
we
you
can
also?
do it. Yeah. But not so much intense, but you can create it.
Of
So
course.
you will be surprised. A lot of business folks like business analysts or SMEs, they use PowerPoint for their concept designs because they
Ah,
don't have access to all these design tools. So they prefer these PowerPoint to create a rough wireframes and then hand it over to a proper designer.
right, right. It also makes sense now why shapes is, what you would use. I mean, I'm already seeing it here. This is quite fascinating to think about because I'm so
Yeah.
used to thinking about, oh, here's the next new age tool, here's the next new age app, right? Which has its own value. But then to go back to like the basics and say, here's something that,
One more another thing, as I said, a lot of time I create, strategic. So a lot of my seniors, my leader from my leadership, they have to review their work to their bosses, like the CXOs of the organization, and they play around data, all numbers, how much revenue fall up and down, what is the next strategy. So they create a presentation or their PMOs create in the presentation, and then they come up to me, hey Kapil, can you make it more better? Can you bring your magic in there? Can you beautify it? So assume I got a tabular data. So generally I get a tabular data, uh, with lots of data, but because they are not thinking, they will add like, year to year data, then 20, then this is like actual. I'm just putting random number, like
yeah, yeah, of course.
what was the target? Okay, what is actual? How was 2022? How was 2021? And then maybe head count again. So they will get this kind of data. Now I have to create, I use PowerPoint to make it more visually appealing. So
Hmm.
how? So let me just show you. If I'll just create one slide for you. So for example, let's say there are two category, one for the
Hmm.
headcount and one for the revenue.
Hmm.
Okay. So revenue, and you will surprise, I am not using mouse. I do everything on pad.
So you use shortcuts? Is that what do you
No,
use a lot of?
not shortcuts. I use the pad to draw and everything. So because when I used for laptop first time, I found that every time I have to carry mouse in the bag. So I started using, and then I'm now very much, hands-on on doing these things on the laptop pad only.
On the pad? Okay.
Okay, no, it's not like that. It's like this. So okay, now I'll say, let's say revenue is 200 million. Okay, but and this is for so 2022 was 200. Sorry, was 200 million, and now obviously the revenue for this year would be, let's say, 350.
Hmm.
So this is a easy comparison that, and then same with numbers. If let's say the headcount is 12,000 people, and then this year we have 12,600.
Hmm.
Now same data was in a small table.
Yeah.
But now what I'll do, since there is an increase, so I'll make this to green color,
Yeah.
because this is positive. And if it is increased, then probably I'll add some more. Uh, we have increased something like this.
Right. Right. Right.
So this
So
kind of
that's
work
what
is also
you
easy,
visualize the data.
right? And then I have a template where we have already created some of the uh, you know
Oh,
let's say
wow. Okay.
these are various
Hmm.
graphics which we have created, and then
Hmm.
if they wanted to have some strategic, some key information which they passed.
Right. Right.
So let's say this is my strategy for Q1 2024. This is for Q2 2024, and so on.
I can see the power of having templates in PowerPoint for visualizing the same data differently. So if someone is looking at this and says, wow, maybe I should try PowerPoint as a way of telling my story, would it be fair to say that one of the pieces of advice you would give them is to create a template library? Do you use it enough to recommend to somebody
Yes,
else?
so we have a marketing team.
Hmm.
So they keep, there's a huge graphic designers, and they keep adding new graphics as per the Capgemini branding. And
Hmm.
also since it's a big corporate, so we have to go with our branding guideline. But
Yeah,
if you see these days, there are a lot of AI tools which helps you to create a nice presentation.
correct. Huh, okay. So actually, then that's a good question, right, Kapil? So how does that figure in your world? So let's say you can use an AI tool to create a presentation that you can edit. Then what does that do to what you're doing here manually? Do you use that and incorporate that, or is that something you haven't
Till
explored?
now,
Like,
till
where are
now
you
I
on that?
have till now I haven't used, because we have certain guidelines, like whatever we have to use with our own uh, organization branding guidelines. And also,
Okay.
even if I'm using image, we have a stock images license which we use. But to answer to your question, even if there are AI tools which creates,
Hmm.
but it will create certain aspect. So
Correct.
this comes to that question that AI will kill jobs of designers. So the answer is no.
Hmm.
Probably the designer will be more better, or he will be more faster. For example, right now I am creating, I have
Yeah.
to draw this and write this. I will just put a good prompt that
Hmm.
create dashboard where my last year revenue was 200 millions and this year revenue is
Yeah.
250. It will
Hmm.
create, and then I will play around with that.
You'll
So
play around. Correct. Correct.
so
But
the
it's
I
not something you've done yet. It's something that you'd probably consider down the road, but it's not something you're implementing or incorporating right now, is it?
Yeah, no, we are not. But I have seen that Microsoft Copilot, which is their AI engine,
Yeah.
that is coming with a lot of new ideas. In fact, in PowerPoint also you can get a lot of new templates. Let me see if it comes. Uh, So if you type something here, on the right hand side, it gives you some template. I don't know why it's not coming, but on the right hand side, it gives you a lot of predefined templates.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Copilot is not integrated yet in our organization. That's why it's not
Yeah.
coming.
Got it. Okay. So there is obviously there is, and that is what I'm hearing across the podcasts that I've done, and I'm talking to people about the implication of AI, and everyone says that they, if they are not using it, they'd be open to using it, and then they would tweak it according to their specifications and their personality, what story they want to tell. So there has to be some personalization
Right.
onto, or customization onto anything that's AI generated. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So I'll show you my presentation, which I did. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I can.
So see, it's all your ideas, whatever you have in your mind and how you're putting into a presentation with a design creativity with
Right.
various colors and so on. So this is also a good example where, I created a day in a life, the question which you asked me, but
Yes,
basically
yes, yes, yes.
how a next gen. So all this is in PowerPoint. There is no, only graphics has been created or we downloaded from license. But yeah.
Interesting. So, what would you say are the limitations of PowerPoint for you? If it's doing such a great job, where does it, what would you like it to incorporate or offer if that it's not already offering?
See, there is a limitation. It cannot be an actual output for a design because it has a limitation of width and height. You have a
Mm.
certain, though you can increase, but you cannot create an actual pixel, a grid-based layout, which will be, helpful to the developers. So,
Yeah.
but as a concept, it's good. Also, the current softwares like Figma, XD, and Sketch, they have interactions. They have, dynamic interactions. You can open the drop down. You can change. They have given us stages like, the hover stage, the click stage. All those component is there. The component libraries are very easily created in those tools, which is not there. Though you can create that, you can use animation feature of the PowerPoint, and you have to create multiple slides. Like say the first slides drop down is open. In second slide, you have to create that and you have to link. So there is a lot of dependency, but I think it's okay for initial concept building and for presentation. PowerPoint is the best tool.
Right, and I think that is your job, right? Your job is to come up with concepts and for presentation. So for your job, for what you need to do as head of experience design, it seems like it's getting the job done pretty well, even
Exactly.
with these.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So if you could complete this sentence for me, MS PowerPoint is a great tool for those who want to dash. What would you say?
MS PowerPoint is a great tool for those who wanted to be presentable.
Be presentable. Okay. All right. So the only thing that I've left right now is a rapid fire round. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. For four very, very easy questions. First question, name one thing on your bucket list.
Join a product company.
Okay. Which social media platform are you most active on?
As of now, I'm mostly active on Instagram, which I started this year only.
Okay. It explains why you're most active there then.
Yeah.
Do you own a vehicle?
Yeah.
What do you own?
I have a SUV.
An SUV. And what brand?
It's Hyundai Venue.
Okay. All right. And the last question, what comes to mind when I say happy?
Happy as in I am happy or you are happy?
Just happy. I'm just saying the word happy. What comes to mind when I say happy?
Smile.
Smile. Okay. All right. Well, that was it for the podcast. Is there anything, Kapil, that I have not asked or that you want to share more about regarding PowerPoint, and what it's done for you, doing for you?
I think I would like to just uh, leverage this platform and give a message to our young budding designers that start using PowerPoint. I'm not branding Microsoft, but yeah, it's a very good tool because what we have seen when I do a campus hiring or when we hire designers, especially between 0 to 5 years of experience. Everyone is, Figma type designers. And they don't know the power of PowerPoint, that how you can present whatever in your mind, you can present in presentations through PowerPoint. Obviously, you can do it with various tools also, but this tool is accessible to everyone. Not every organization gives you the Adobe Creative Cloud or XD. It depends on clients and all. But so people should learn presentation. PowerPoint is eventually, as they move on to their career, everything happens on PowerPoint. I remember there's a joke. Uh, when recruiter calls to a person and say, we have a requirement for a manager job. What is your skill? He says MS Office, because I do presentation, I work on Excels, and I write things on Word. That's
Yeah.
my
That's and not to take this lightly, because as someone who's leading the design experience at Capgemini and using PowerPoint every day, there's obviously, I mean, this is really weighted advice. And for someone who's doing hiring, right? If this is what you're looking for, I'm assuming a resume that points out that they are skilled at MS Office is will stand out, especially
even
if they call out PowerPoint, right?
even my team's designers portfolio and resume template is also in PowerPoint.
Wow. Okay. So if you're looking to get hired, basically, if you're looking to join Capgemini and your resume has to come in front of Kapil in any way or form, make sure you mentioned some level of expertise in PowerPoint when you're applying. All right. Thank you for that word of advice. And Kapil, this was absolutely fantastic. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Diwali. And I know we'll be in touch even outside of this podcast. So
Sure.
have a great weekend.
You too. Happy Diwali. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.